Good evening. My name is Jordan Burks, and this is my video. Today, I'll be talking about the three major topics that are essential to understanding how leaders guide and impact their employees and how organizations function. These topics are leadership styles, motivation theories, and power and influence in the workplace. These three ideas are deeply connected, and I also use them in my management. I'm also a manager, so very effective. These leadership styles affect how motivated employees feel. Motivation in turn shapes performance, and behind every leadership action is some form of power or influence being used. When we understand how these concepts work together, we gain a clear picture of what effective leadership really looks like in modern organizations and in modern world. Effective leadership styles can begin by exploring leadership styles, and they are essentially the approach to leaders using the guide to motivate, communicate, and to be effective with their team. Different styles can produce very different outcomes depending on different situations and the people being led, because depending on the manager, some employees may or may not take certain commands like seriously. So the way that you carry yourself, the way that you are a manager, all matters. One of the most well-known styles is autocratic leadership style. Autocratic leaders make decisions on their own, give clear instructions, and expect employees to follow them without such discussion. This style can be useful in environments that require fast decision making, such as emergency situations, or whenever employees are new and need strong direction. But despite its effectiveness in the short term, an autocratic style often hurts long-term performance. Employees may feel that they are not trusted or even valued whenever you're stern or whenever you mean business. So employees may tend to be limited, and people become less willing to offer ideas or solutions. Over time, this can reduce job satisfaction and lead to high turnover. On opposite side of the spectrum is the supportive or participative leadership style. Supportive leaders involve employees in decision making, encourage their input, and focus heavily on building positive relationships. Employees under supportive leaders often feel respected and included. So whenever you're talking, whenever you're interacting day by day, checking on your employees, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you keeping up? All that ties into their performance, how they feel at the workplace, how they want to be, how like do they even want to show up? Do they want to go to work? Do they want to? Do they feel heard? So all that ties back. Motivation theories. Motivation, what drives people to work and to put in the effort and to stay committed in an organization. Understanding is crucial because even the best leadership styles won't be effective. Like everything that people teach you or what you see, what you hear may not be the best. Some things you might have to learn yourself. Some ways you might have to learn your employees and your crowd. You have to do different things for different situations. And one of the most popular theories is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow believed that humans needs are arranged in a pyramid with 5 levels. At the bottom are our basic needs like food, water, and safety. Above those are social needs, esteem needs, and finally, self-accusational, self-actu- self-actualization, becoming the best version of ourselves. Maslow's theories teaches us that money alone cannot fully motivate employees. Yes, money is good. Yes, it's important for meeting your basic needs, but once those needs are met, then what? People look for more. They want more. You yearn for more. That's just how we are. It's second nature. But once those needs are met, they are wanting belonging, recognition, responsibility, and personal growth. So then you start looking for future goals like, is this something I can do for 5, 10 years? Or is this something I can just do for a couple months? Like, it's certain jobs that you know you can't do for a certain duration of time. And another important theory is Hasberg's two-factor theory. Hasberg found that the certain job factors, which he called hygiene factors, prevent dissatisfaction, but do not truly motivate employees. These include salary, company policies, and working conditions. On the other hand, motivators such as achievement, recognition, meaningful work, and opportunities for advancement are what actually increases motivation and performance. This theory shifts the focus away from simply avoiding negative conditions and toward creating meaningful experiences that help employees feel proud of their work. So, like rewarding them with, like this week, like this month, the employer might get a little raise, like something like that. So, like anything to make them feel like their work is appreciated, like. And last, power and influence in the organization. How you influence your employees, how you influence your customers, how you influence everyone. You can use some form of power, whether they realize it or not. Power is simply the ability to influence anyone. So that not just saying you have to be a manager to have power. Anyone can have power. Anyone can drive someone. Anybody can influence somebody. Anybody can have that upper hand. It's just how you do it. And all types of power don't work the same way though. Like one common type is legitimate power, which comes from a person's formal position in an organization. A manager has the authority to assign tasks, enforce rules, and evaluate performances simply because of their role. But legitimate power is necessary for structure, but it's most effective when leaders use it fairly and respectfully whenever you're not just at your employee's neck all the time, every day they at work, you up on them like nobody likes that type of person. Nobody wants to work for that. Nobody wants to be around that, you know? And another type is expert power. This comes from a person's knowledge, skills, or expertise, what you know, how you know it, and how you show it to your employees. Like, you can't just act like you don't know nothing or you dumbfound. Like, every time they ask you a question, you have to act like you know something. You have to know, you have to act like this is something you're serious about. And expert power often creates trust because people feel confident following someone who clearly understands the job. And then there's charismatic power, which comes from a leader's personality. Things like confidence, communication ability, and the capability and capacity to inspire others. So that means like you able to encourage your peers. Like you're not just there. Like you're a team player. Like you're there for the team. And charismatic leaders often create strong emotional connections with their employees, making them highly influential, even without formally authority. There are other forms of power as well, such as reward power, the ability to give raises, bonuses, or promotions, and coercive power, which is the ability to punish. However, the most effective leaders rely more on expert and charismatic power. than on threats or fear. When power is used ethically, employees trust their leaders, feel safe to communicate honestly, and become more willingly to follow. And when leaders apply the right style, understand what motivates their employees, and use their powers responsibly, the rewards are endless for the workplace. And they build teams that are not just only high performing, but also inspired, committed, and genuinely satisfied with their work. Thank you for listening to this. I appreciate it. And this concludes my presentation.